All right, I've got a Quadrunner 250 here. I've got the fenders off at this time, wheels, obviously the suspension here. I wanted to go through and show you how to get to this exhaust pipe, what this all entails here. It's completely covered up. You really can't really see exactly what you need to take off if you replace your muffler or if you replace your head pipe here. I just wanted to go through the process with you. You don't actually have to take fenders off. You don't have to take the right side wheel off. You do have to take this suspension off here. You've got a shock running right across here. You've got an A-arm running here, and it just makes it a lot easier to get to these parts if you have all these components off. Drive shaft is off. You wouldn't necessarily have to do that to get to this, but we did that just so you can see a little bit better. I wanted to show you exactly how to do this process. Now we've got two 12mm bolts that run into the bottom side of this muffler here. You've got a mounting plate that is behind this heat shield here. On this side, same place on the other side. Pull those out. Again, those are 12mm bolts. And then we've got a lot of 8mm bolts there that we need to remove to get this shield off. We're going to use an impact driver here just to speed things up. You've got a shift cable that runs here, so that is going to be in the way. All right, now we've got this cover off. You can see there's another 8mm bolt in the back there. You don't actually have to remove that one. Now we're going to be able to get to this exhaust muffler pipe connecting bolt here. That's a 12mm. This particular one comes in from the top. They're not all going to be coming in from the top. Sometimes you might have this clamp slid this direction here so you can pull it out from there. Now we have that clamp loosened up. Now come from the back end, grab a hold, and you're gonna have to do a little bit of wiggling here because this connection typically is fairly difficult to pull off of there. And then I take and wiggle it. Now if it's not coming like this, which ours is gonna come, it's gonna be fairly easy, but some of them are extremely challenging. You are tempted to grab a sledgehammer and just start pounding. Problem is these mufflers are extremely thin-walled. If you use any sort of force, sticking a crowbar in here or tapping on it, using a hammer to tap on it right here, you're going to blow a hole in this exhaust pipe. So if by chance you're replacing the exhaust pipe because you already have a hole in it, feel free to use excessive force. But typically you can pull them off of here just by spraying a little lubricant in these joints here and then taking and just wiggling this back and forth. All right, now we're able just to slip that off of there. We can pull this exhaust pipe out of the back. There we go. We can set that aside. Now I'm going to show you the exhaust head pipe, which is here. We've got a couple different mounting places. Still 8mm bolts because we've got this heat shield over top of it. All right, we've got all those 8mm bolts off. We've got our shift mount here. Our recoil pull starter is here. Easier just to remove this mount here. All right, now we're able to just take and pull that cover right off of there just like that. Now we've got our head pipe exposed. We're going to go up now to the actual cylinder head. There's going to be a couple bolts there that we're going to remove. All right, we'll loosen up these two 12mm nuts here that are holding this exhaust head pipe on the actual cylinder head. And a little bit hard to get an impact driver in there. These sometimes too can rust. They can become damaged just because of the heat of that exhaust pipe and that cylinder there, that cylinder head. So a lot of times these are extremely challenging to pull off of here. So if you need to use lubricant on these, you are welcome to. Keep in mind that if you do use WD-40 or some other kind of penetrating oil, it will smoke when you're going back and starting your four-wheeler. Not the end of the world. It's not a bad thing at all. It's not going to hurt anything. Just keep that in mind. You will have a little bit of smoke there. So we've got these two nuts removed. Now we've got our head pipe that still we will not be able to pull off of there unless we remove this engine mount. You can try all you want to slide this back and forth. But the easiest way to do this, pull this engine mount here. You've got a bolt up top here. You've got a bolt down below. And you've got a bolt going all the way through there. That is a 14mm, then you've got a nut on the other side of that. All right, we have that nut off of there. Now I'm going to take, and unfortunately, if that nut was on this side, you can just take and pull that off. Fortunately, we have the entire engine resting on this mount here, but we can just tap that out of there from the other side, or sometimes you can slide it out from this side. And the other thing that you can do a lot of times is just pull it back far enough there's a little bit of a rubber damper in there that you'll be able to take and pull it back. We'll see if we can get it out of there without having to completely remove that. Make sure you've got that clamp loosened up at the cylinder head. You've got the nuts off of there, but a lot of times that clamp is going to stay on that actual cylinder head until you take and work that off of there. All right, we've got that clamp pried off of there. Now we're going to take and see if we can wiggle this exhaust pipe out of there without having to remove that mount completely. So we've got our, again, our clamp up top here. I'm going to try to move my arm so you can see what I'm doing. But that's hitting on the foot pegs. So the other thing that we can do now, we can remove our recoil pull starter, just 8 millimeters all the way around there. And that might be the easiest thing to do. Recoil pull starter is off. Now we've got a little more room for play in there. We'll see if that does it. Okay, all right, we're this far here. We'll take, and we ended up sliding that exhaust head pipe out the bottom through that frame there. So that is the exhaust head pipe on a Quadrunner 250, same style as the 300 King Quads and the Quadrunners. Now what I'm going to do is take and show you how to remove that prop shaft. We've got a rubber dampener on the front there. You can see that drive shaft there can be a bit of a challenge to remove. This drive shaft here, it's got a slip yoke in the back here, meaning this shaft can slide back and forth, but it is connected up here to a rubber damper. So you've got bolts all the way around here, and you've got 2, 4, about 6. You've got 6 bolts and nuts running through this rubber damper here. And so you got to loosen those. You can take and you can do a couple different things. You can take and remove all of these bolts, all 6 bolts, so your rubber damper slides out. Or you can take your front differential, loosen up your front differential, slide it completely forward so that your yoke in the back here is completely separated. And then all you have to do is undo 3 of these, and you can pull that damper along with that prop shaft all the way out. Now, to replace that U-joint, make sure you check our channel. We've got several videos on replacing the U-joints on the King Quad 300 and the Quadrunner 250. So make sure you check those out. If you guys have questions or comments on this Suzuki 4-wheel drive 4-wheeler, make sure you leave those in the comments below. If this video has been helpful, make sure you give us a thumbs up. Please share with your friends, family, and neighbors. Subscribe to our channel. Send me your merchandise. Send me checks, cash, Venmo, PayPal. I accept about anything. Gonna work hard to continue to get you guys maintenance videos on all kinds of different power sports equipment. So thanks for watching.